building is right down the street. We're live now with the man of the hour. We're just talking off the air. We're right down the street from you. So our building is at Tucker and Olive. So we're just down the street from the stadium site. This is Lutz Pfannenstiel. He is the sporting director for St. Louis City SC, the new MLS team in town, which has been given ample time. And, it's interesting, Lutz, and thank you so much for doing this. This show started during the pandemic, and at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was really aimed at just me drinking a beer, and I'm having one right now. This is Schlafly's actually right on your stadium property there. The tap room's right there. And I was just talking to people, and it turned into a thing. And it actually, in a very tough time, this was something in my life that turned out to be good from the pandemic, is that I learned that this was fun and good, and we met a lot of people and learned a lot of things. The pandemic was not ideal for sports, but in an interesting way, it turned out to be somewhat beneficial to your group because it's given you a little more time to get things in order, hasn't it? And thank you very much again for doing this.
Yeah, glad to be here, Tom. Yeah, I think, being moved from 2022 to 23, I think it was quite good in the end of the day, because it gives us really a little bit more time to focus on the most important thing. And it's just the way you build a house. You need to get the foundation right. Otherwise, it just won't look beautiful in the end of the day. And I think our foundation must be the community approach. Our foundation must be a really good academy approach. And I think the first team is then something which will follow. And I think through that extra year, having now, especially myself, a lot of time to really focus on the basics, to get the basics right, to put a lot of work in building the community system, the satellite locations, and of course the academy. I think that is what the whole soccer society, the whole soccer community is a little benefit in the years to come, not just in 4 or 5 years, but probably in the next 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time, the pandemic also was not easy on your job specifically to go out and scout talent. And having covered sports for a long time, I've always been fascinated with the front office of whether it's been the Cardinals or the Blues or the Rams when they were here, and how they go far and wide to find talent. And that's certainly, in your case, not being able to travel has been a little bit of a challenge. I bet you're itching to get out there and get after it.
Yeah, it's definitely important that you also see the player, the targets, the boys you're really interested in, to see them face to face and see them playing and also see them training. But, the new technologies made things, especially in soccer, a little bit easy for us. The database, I think the way you can scout online, you can literally watch a second division game in Peru or Serbia or anywhere in the world, and you're getting a good overview of the players. Data is a really important part in scouting now as well. I think it helps you a lot to create a short list and to eliminate players who not really a great fit. But in the end of the day, I think you need to be there to make final decisions. You need to be there. You need to feel the energy. You need to see it on the big field, not just what you see on a TV with a limited kind of vision. So yeah, it's now slowly opening up. I mean, I'm heading over now to the Euro 2021 to Europe next week to meet as many people as possible, to watch as many games as possible, to meet coaches, to meet players, to meet agents. So it will be a busy few weeks, but that big tournaments, I think that is where everybody really meets, where everybody is there, where you can organize meeting after meeting. And I think that is something where we get a nice overview over the market to come in the next 2 years.
You are very well regarded in Europe. You came over as someone that everyone buzzed about there. What's the difference? Is there a big difference between the way the game is played there and the way MLS is played here?
Well, it's a bit of a difference, but in the end of the day, I think the MLS is now on a way to become an absolute top league internationally. The league is growing unbelievable, and I think looking at the US players who are playing now overseas, also with the men's national team, I think it shows that there is a big enthusiasm at the moment. I mean, I was lucky enough to loan Zach Steffen, the national goalkeeper, from Man City to Fortuna Düsseldorf, and he stayed there with me for a season. And yeah, you see, I mean, he just was in the Champions League final with Man City, and I think there is lots of really, really good American players right now in Europe. So it shows the talent has a big impression over there, but also the talents over here in the MLS. I think it's growing. The league is really, really well organized. There is lots of teams now. There is some teams also changing the way of play. Some teams also changing a little bit the approach. What kind of foreigners do I sign? Do I sign players who are older with a big name, or do I bring hungry players who are still on the way up? So there is lots of movements, lots of good motion. And I think the people who watch the MLS on TV and going to the stadium, I think they actually feel that there is a lot to come and that it's a very, very positive way at the moment.
I totally see that coming. I can feel the momentum. It's a very popular league, and soccer fans absolutely eat it up. And you'll understand, as you already do, how in tune this city is with the sport. You're not going to have to teach the soccer fans the sport. It'll be a learning curve for the casual sports fan, but there's so much excitement about the game. The stadium, we'll get into that in just a minute, is amazing. But you have been able to spend a lot of time here in St. Louis. So what did you observe from the players here? And I know you've set up, you are setting up an academy, and you've been able to check out some of the youth talent here.
Yeah, when I came here, it was in the middle of a pandemic in August, but it was possible to watch some of the high school games. And then with the year coming a bit into the later stage, more and more high school games are played. I really went all over the state, all over the city, all over the county to watch as many games as possible. And what we're doing now, I think it was just it was the right decision, because we have lots of players now from our scouting, from our games we watched from the high school system, and also from other academies and other clubs. And right now we had yesterday one of the, I wouldn't say one of the last, but one of the final selection sessions where there was around 80 players of two age groups there together. And let me tell you, Tom, I think the level is really good. There is lots of talent here. There is lots of boys also coming from smaller clubs or from high schools who don't play club soccer. And it looks really promising. So this 06 age group and 05 age group, they both will play MLS Next this fall. Actually, we'll start there in August or September. And I really can't wait till the first ball to be kicked in a St. Louis City SC's jersey.
Isn't that wild? So that's going to get going here pretty soon. And then the stadium will be finished in 22. So the commissioner came. He left today, but as we're recording this, some people are watching this live, but this is Thursday. And he came in on Wednesday and checked out the stadium. The last time he was here, it was an empty lot. What did he think of all of that? And what was that like just to have him here and to have all of you meeting together?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, I mean, it's the strongest man in the MLS. And if Don comes by, I think it's always something special. I mean, he was really impressed, the progress we made with the infrastructure, but also with all the meetings with the different departments, having really detailed discussions and talks and presentations. I think the MLS is pretty happy with the progress we made so far. And I mean, the stadium will be something special. Alone, the location is something unbelievable to have right in downtown, such a beautiful facility, but also being lucky enough to have our trainings facility right next to it, where the academy will train, where the professional team will train, all that in downtown. I mean, it can't really be any better.
I really feel like this group just will spare no expense. I mean, they need a problem fixed. They're going to get it done, which is an incredible commitment to not only the movement, but also the city. I was thinking about this too. I did an event, a private event with Matt Seebeck. And I mentioned, it was on your birthday, actually, that we did this event for the St. Louis Sports Commission, which is also right there in the neighborhood of the stadium. And I thought about this. I'm like, Lutz, I'm assuming you celebrated the birthday here in the city, but I was like, he could not have better people showing him around than the Taylor family, Jim Kavanaugh. Like, that is St. Louis, man. I mean, you had the best tour guides ever in that group. And that had to have been nice.
Yeah, I think, the commitment of the Taylor family is unbelievable. And also the way the approach is to really focus on doing something special for the city, doing something special for St. Louis, get the community together, promote the game, get people together and play it. Also in out there in every community, to really be accessible for everybody, to make it a sport everybody can play. And I think that commitment is unbelievable. And then on top of that, being able to have a stadium of, well, for me, it's world class. Having a training center, which is absolutely brilliant. All that together with that deep dedication to grow the game in the community and make St. Louis. I mean, we talk about soccer capital, and once everything is ready, I'm 100% believe that we are the soccer capital here in the United States, and I think that's what we're all going for. But as I said, the pro team is still a bit away. We need to focus now on the youngsters, on the development, on the academy, on the community. This is the future. And I think we need to look not just on the short term, we need to look into the medium term and in the long term, and only then we can be successful.
Yeah, to have that great star talent, if some mega star either develops out of this or if you're able to bring one in right away, that's also exciting. But as you mentioned, it's a foundation. It's building the foundation, the building blocks for the next 10, 20 years. And it's really, gosh, it's just fun to think about a pro sports team starting, and we're witnessing it and following it. And it feels like, to go back to what we talked in the beginning, that you've had that ample time to build the brand. Atlanta had a chance to do that, and some of the others too. If you rush right into it, sometimes it's not as good, probably. I think that you have a leg up on other, like you'll be as prepared as anybody, as any franchise. Lutz, just before we go, and I we have a few more minutes, but are you one of those who played the game, in diapers? I mean, when did you start? Do you know when you got hooked on the game, or it was just part of growing up?
No, I mean, I was born into a soccer family. My dad was a professional goalkeeper. My grandfather was a big administrator at the federation. So for me, I didn't really have much choice. I played in a very young age. Also, I played a lot of tennis, but soccer was the game I always wanted to play. And yeah, I was born in it. I was actually I was just putting goal. I wanted to be a striker or a winger, but they said, no, your dad was a keeper going goal. I think it was the right decision in the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, I went through the ranks. I played at highest level there in the youth. I played for my country, so I played for the German youth national team, and it was a great experience. But for me, soccer is the most beautiful game in the world. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are, you can play it. It's accessible, it's easy. It's usually a sport who gets people together. Football really connects everybody, or soccer, as you say, and that is something really, really special.
It is going to be special. And, I think this is a city that you are going to absolutely love and embrace. And when you get to see the fans, you already have, but when you get to experience, let's say, Busch Stadium at full capacity, which is happening here in a couple weeks, when the Blues are at full capacity and that place is rocking, and when you have your stadium, the one that is rising right now just off Market Street, just west of Union Station, at full capacity in 2023, I can't even imagine what will be flowing through all of your bodies with 22,500 in that recessed stadium just going nuts. It's going to be an amazing feeling. And it's exciting to talk about it. And I really appreciate you coming on and giving us a little picture of what's being built. I know we're going to stay connected on KMOX Radio, but it's great to have you on the Garage Happy Hour. I really appreciate this. Look forward to raising one with you in person, man. Looking forward to that as well. Thanks a lot. Great to have you. Lutz Pfannenstiel, well, on the Garage Happy Hour, what an absolute treasure the sport of soccer is here in St. Louis, and it is about to go to another level. Thanks to Sam Masterson, our producer, and we depart with a word from Bommarito Automotive Group, our tremendous sponsor of the Garage Happy Hour. We will see you next Thursday at 5:30.
At Bommarito, shop thousands of new vehicles. Get more for your trade. The Bommarito nationwide warranty, 10 years, 200,000 miles, and the best service after the sale. Bommarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group, open 24/7 at Bommarito.com.